Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 113 is brought to you by Kiwi, one of our newest Patreon patrons. Today, Sergio and I are answering the most recent 100-day countdown to New Horizons questions, talking a bit about the pre-order bonuses and New Horizons merchandise, and taking a lot of mail from our post office. So to begin, hello Sergio, how you doing?
Hello, Chewy. I'm doing rather well. It's pretty awesome to be below the 70s numbers for the countdown. Honestly, it still hasn't hit me how close we are. I haven't let it hit me. I want to realize it when it's like 20 or 15 days to go, and it's going to be crazy. How are you doing, Chewy?
I know. The same. I feel like I'm really amazed that it's already under 70, but I'm just like, oh man, I don't know when it's going to feel real, you know? I have like little kind of glimpses of it here and there, and I'm just like, oh man, this is really happening. And then it's just a regular day for the rest of the time. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And something I forgot to say last week is, hello everybody, welcome to the year of Animal Crossing, because this is it. Like, we're in 2020 now. And this has been a long wait. I know I've talked about this a lot, but I feel like this wait started back in E3 2015.
Yeah.
And we got Amiibo Festival, which, you know, it's something, it might have been, I don't know, it could have been better, but you know, we got what we got, and now we're just about there. Today is 68 days. For everybody listening, it's 66, I believe, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, yeah, so it's getting really close, and I guess we'll just start off with answering the questions for the past 7 days. So if you're unfamiliar with the show, we have a 100-day countdown going on, and this started about, I don't know, I guess 34 days ago now.
Yes.
For everybody listening. But we are going through day 72 through 66. So these questions we ask daily on social media and our Discord and everything. But Sergio and I answer them for everybody here. So let's get started. Question for day 72 was favorite furniture set. So Sergio, I just read your answer. What is it?
It is the same as your answer. It's modern wood set.
Yep. Yeah, we both picked the modern wood. I mean, we know that you're madera, like,
right,
which translated as wood in Spanish, for those who don't know. So naturally, you like that good old natural material, right?
Yeah. In a way, I also like that it kind of looks like chocolate.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a nice little chocolate bar too. Yeah, chocolate's delicious, so yeah. I don't mind that. Yeah, I guess what I like about the modern wood set is just like the different color tones of the wood, you know? And I really like the variety you get when you customize it as well with Cyrus. You have kind of more of the plain look where it's kind of more the same color wood, you know? And then you have one that keeps the wood colors, like the different colors, and it turns them into more like diamond angular shapes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, instead of like the stripes that we have in the modern wood.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I love a lot of them, and they all have like a different thing going on that I really like. I think for a while, actually, probably to this day, the upstairs in my New Leaf uses the modern wood set, but I think I have it all customized to kind of the basic look. Which that's probably confusing. So it's not like the standard look that it comes in, but it's the more simplified single tone color for it.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, but I love that set. I think it was really refreshing to see like new furniture in Animal Crossing, you know? Because I mean, it's a game about furniture for at least the first 3 games. It's all about the furniture you collect, right? And it was, I mean, they've added stuff here and there, but New Leaf really gave us a huge update to what types of furniture we could find, you know? And I think that was one of the strengths of New Leaf for sure, because I see complaints about Pokemon, for example, where everybody is just like, it's the same game every single time, just with some new Pokemon kind of thing. And I mean, some people, if you really wanted to be mean, you could say Animal Crossing is just the same game every time, just with out new Pokemon because they didn't really add furniture sets, but that's one thing that's got me really excited about New Horizons too. That just like the new huge amounts of new furniture that we're going to be making. It's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And as soon as I saw the modern wood set in New Leaf, I said, yes, this is my main furniture set that I'm gonna be using, and it is prominently displayed in my living room right as you go in. I went without the customized look for it, just the natural one, and I just really think it goes really well with Madera and with my living room. It's perfect.
Yeah, and like I said, that natural look to it, I love that look still, and I had that for a long time before I decided to change it up at some point. But since I changed it up, I just don't play as much, so I've never changed it back. Cool. So day 71, the question, this one's a really good one. And I mean, I'm surprised we said that much about the modern wood set, but we're going to have a lot to say about this one, I'm sure. But day 71, the question was, what were your initial thoughts when you learned that you'd be starting New Horizons on a deserted island? And Sergio, I'm really wondering what kind of what you went through seeing that setting.
Honestly, I was glad when it was all said and done. I was glad because I do like the beach. So a beach setting, an island setting type of thing. It's really nice, and I do like the change of theme. The change of environment that we're used to the typical town, foresty type of place. Now we have an island. If we wanted to look like a regular town, we can. If we wanted to look more like an island, it's already set that way. We can change it. So it was a little bit surprising. It was a little bit confusing and off-putting at first, but overall, after a little bit of time just getting used to it. I like the change. I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, that's good because I know, like, going through that initial reaction to New Horizons, you're gonna have different feelings about different things. And I'll say, for me at first, I was just like, yuck. I don't know about this
Oh.
island thing, but at the same time, if there were seasons, I'd be good. But essentially, like, I
Mhm.
go back to this video a long time ago that Arlo made when he was, I think it was his predictions for 2019 video, where he makes like very specific predictions about the year,
Mm.
and what's going to happen. But those videos are always really fun. So I watched it, and all of the stuff he said for Animal Crossing, at least the next game, I thought were not great. I didn't like it. But essentially, he said, it's going to be an island this time. So he got that right.
Mhm.
But he used the words like your perpetual summer getaway kind of thing. And I was
Ah.
just like,
Mhm.
no, not in my Animal Crossing. I don't want it to just be summer. I
No.
need the seasons. Like that to me is like half the fun to the game, like
Yes.
being
Yeah.
able to live the real time clock, and then the
Yes.
seasons change as they change for you. And yeah, I was not about that. So when I first saw the island pop up, I was just like, oh no, please be winter and fall and something different.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so eventually they did show us a little scene from fall, a little scene from winter. And I was just like, okay, this is my Animal Crossing. This is the game I'm ready to come back to. Because honestly, I don't know if I'd play it if it didn't have seasons. I
Oh
mean, I'd
wow.
play it, but it wouldn't be the same to me.
No.
It would feel like the heart of it would be missing.
Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So for me, at first, I was just like, oh no, the island, please just don't be summer every single day for the rest of my life. Cause I don't want that.
Nope.
um, but yeah, those were my initial thoughts. But now, I guess, just to follow that up, what are your thoughts now on the island?
No, I'm definitely all for it, and I appreciate the change. You know, it's nice to change things. We have four games with a regular town, so now it's an island, and like you said, it's affected by weather. All the seasons are here, so I think it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm excited about it because I think it's pulling off something very new and unique to Animal Crossing that I really appreciate, and that's just like when we talked about this a lot before the game was out, but I said something along the lines of like, I want to start in a place that's a complete dump, you know? Like, I
Yes,
want it to be built up from nothing, essentially. And I think the island setting allows us to do that pretty naturally and easily. So, yeah, I'm all about that for sure.
nice.
So day 70, the question was design a new villager species. And this one, I've fallen off of the drawings. It didn't take long because it took essentially just one time that I drew something. So I didn't draw anything for this one. But I guess I did come up with an idea, and it's not a very great idea, but it's something that I know a lot of people want. But I want bats. I want
Mm.
fox-faced bats specifically because I think they're adorable. They're really
Oh,
cute. And I guess just a lot of people, when they bring up this idea, they go toward having like nocturnal animals and that sort of thing. I'm going to ignore that. I don't think they need to be nocturnal. I think they can just be out at whatever hour of the day they want to be out, like other
yes.
villagers, you know? And the one thing that I would change about them, though, is instead of sitting on things, they hang upside down from
Oh,
trees.
that's awesome.
Because, I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about your villager, Sergio?
Cool. Well, I had this idea. It's sort of like a subspecies. I wanted to add panda bears to the game. I know we have
Oh.
Chester. He kind of looks like a panda, but he's technically a cub, a bear cub. So I
Hmm.
want to have an actual panda bear species. They can be different ones, you know, bigger, smaller ones, and at least one of each personality. So I just want a lot of actual panda bears. I think it's possible. There's a lot of variety they could do there. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, pandas are really cute. I had Chester in my town for a long time,
Oh, nice.
and eventually I let him move because he was in the exact spot I wanted to put like a lighthouse or a windmill. And I feel bad because I didn't actually ever put a lighthouse or a windmill there.
Oh.
There's another item there right now, so I think I need to fix that, swap them out, and just make sure that Chester is, you know, that's going to be placed there for Chester
Right, right. It's like
to
his
remember.
monument.
Yeah, exactly. The Chester Monument Lighthouse is what it's going to be officially called.
Nice.
Yeah. So the question for day 69 was your favorite Pocket Camp fortune cookie. And I'm
Mm.
really interested in what you're going to say, Sergio, because you haven't been playing this game for a bit.
That's right. And you know, honestly, it's a silly answer for me. I don't really like any of the cookie types because they look artificial. They don't look like a cookie that I would want to eat. They look like they're painted on and I wouldn't want to eat paint. So I'm going with the Pom Pom Purin cookie. That's one of the Sanrio character collaborations. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like a cookie and half of it is dipped in chocolate. It looks really tasty. I would eat that one, so that's the one I'm going with.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Like, it should be an edible cookie, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the character, you watch them eat it. There's a whole thing
Yeah.
that shows them doing that. So hopefully they're not just eating paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. My personal favorite is Apollo's cinema cookie, and it definitely wasn't based on what it looked like because it
Mm.
looks like you're probably eating paint on this
Yeah.
one too. But it was based on the items that I got. It was essentially like this really big screen, kind of TV/theater screen, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's something that I really, really want to see in New Horizons, but thus far, there hasn't
Oh.
quite been evidence for it, but it is a very long piece. So it's like a 1x4, I believe.
Mm.
Or maybe even longer than that, like 1x5 or something, but it's a very long piece of furniture. And you know, the one thing that has been kind of remaining true in previous Animal Crossing games is item sizes tend to range from 1x1 to 2x2, you know?
Hmm.
So like the biggest items would be a 2x2 kind of square, but like I want to see a 3x3 length item or
Yes.
you know, like something bigger or something longer. So this screen does that, but then also it has all of these really cute like theater seating, and one of them has popcorn in it, and it's really cool.
Oh,
And the other
nice.
has like soda. And I'm just so I made my whole downstairs to my camper a home theater, so everybody who
Oh,
comes in can just watch a movie with me. It's pretty nice.
nice.
Yeah, and so I mean, like if I'm not doing any work for Chewy Plays or Haken or, you know, just recording videos and stuff, like usually I'm watching something, which, because I love watching
Right.
things. Yeah. So that's my favorite.
Cool.
Day 68. This is for us today, Sergio.
Oh.
New Leaf's fortune cookie Nintendo items. Cutesy or tacky? What do you think?
I think they're cute overall, but I agree with your comments. They are overused, and everyone had them. And personally, I didn't want them in my home. I just stored them in the museum because, like we said, they're everywhere. Everyone has them. But in a way, I think a lot of people also have them in the museum. They don't really use them in their homes. I guess because when we play Animal Crossing, we want our homes to look like the ones we have in real life, or like a fantasy type of location, but not really a Nintendo type. That's more for like other games. So it's nice to have them for the people that want them, but overall, for the most part, I think most people really don't want them or use them.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like you were saying. I feel like they're cute, and I definitely like them, but they just become overused.
Hmm.
A lot of people, as at least if you played around like convention centers and got like tons of street pass, every single place that you went into would typically have like Nintendo item room, and I was like, I just want to see something
Yeah.
different.
Yep.
um, but yeah, I feel like for me, my experience with it was that it was overused, and I saw it too much. But now, I don't know. I guess we'll see how I feel about it in this next game, because I don't know if I'm going to see them a lot or if they'll be like feel like more rare items. You know?
Yeah, they could add. They could always add new ones. I think if they do, and I think they will, we're gonna see them, and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, and that's probably gonna be it. We're probably not gonna use them again unless it's a really really cool one. But I feel like it's better to just have one or two of them instead of a whole theme, because Animal Crossing has so many unique themes to it that I think we are all mostly inclined to just go with that instead of the general Nintendo ones.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be so much that you can do that we're probably not going to see a lot of the same things going on in everybody's place this time around.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So, day 67, concerning your character's face, do you answer Rover's questions with a guide, or do you leave your look to fate? So, yeah, Sergio, how do you handle it?
I use the guide. um, I don't know if we could before. I definitely didn't. So I started in New Leaf, but I am going to in New Horizons if we need to, unless we are able to customize ourselves from the very beginning. I think that's gonna be the case. But it's important to me to look the way I look in real life because that's how I approach Animal Crossing. This is me. This is my life on an island. So I want to look the way I look. Yeah, I definitely use the guide. No, no shame here.
Yeah, I also use the guide. Typically, I guess when I first go through it and stuff, because I knew I was going to reset, I just kind of did whatever and saw what my face would turn out like, if I
Hmm.
just answered the questions the way I would. And then after that, I decided of whether or not to use the guide, and I definitely went with the guide. All right. So the final question for today is from day 66, or today for everybody. Your go-to hairstyle. What are you thinking on this one, Sergio?
So, related to the previous question, it's pretty much what I have in real life, and most of the time it's just a buzz cut. The shorter my hair is, the better. It's just better for our weather here, and it's a lot easier for headphone listening. So yeah, the shorter the better.
Yeah. I tend to do the one that's buzzed on the sides and long on the top.
Ah, yes, nice.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to this next segment of the show, and we're going to talk about the New Horizons merchandise and pre-order bonuses that have come up. So recently, if you've been looking around Twitter or seeing some videos pop up on YouTube from some people covering this, I haven't really talked about it too much yet because a lot of this news already comes out while I'm at work, and then I see other people already cover it, so I'm just like, oh yeah, it's up there. But I figured we'd talk about it here. So thus far, we're seeing a lot of pre-order bonuses for the UK, Europe, and even like Australia and New Zealand. And it wasn't until recently that we started seeing some stuff that popped up in kind of Japan that's more like merch that you can buy and
Right.
you don't really, I guess, need to pre-order the game. So this stuff, though, like it is coming from Japan, so there is probably some like importing that you'll have to do to get some of it, but we'll go over it regardless. But yeah, let's, I guess I'll take you through this pretty quickly. So thus far for pre-order bonuses, we've seen kind of some KK Slider keychains and Isabel. There's an Isabel keychain and a Tom Nook keychain, and they also have enamel pins that I don't know if those were orderable in Japan or if you would need to, I guess, pre-order the game for any of them, but they are an option. The other thing that came in at a pre-order bonus for the UK/Europe, there was some sticker sheets that had like some stickers of KK Slider, Tom Nook, Timmy and Tommy, Isabel, some villagers, and those are like animal villagers, and then some flowers and a tree as well. And then they had a pre-order bonus with a notepad that looked really cute.
Yes.
And I think the sticker sheet and notepad came together in one set. I forget where it was.
Oh.
And then they had some New Horizons tote bags and a cleaning cloth, so kind of like a lens cleaner kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of those if you're in Europe. I think those are kind of your options with pre-ordering. So I'm hoping if you like one of them, you can get any of them. And then Australia and New Zealand had a pre-order bonus that was just one of the random keychains. So it was either the KK Slider, the Tom Nook, and the Isabel. So I'm going to try to put like pictures of these on the podcast if you're watching on YouTube, so you can take a look and see if you like any of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then before I go to you, Sergio, I guess I'll just cover some of the new merchandise because I think we'll have a little bit more to say about these.
Yes.
Since, they're ones that we could possibly order ourselves,
Yeah.
So this is just merch. You don't have to pre-order the game to get it, but you could probably find a place to order it from Japan. I've never done that, so I don't know exactly the process, but I'm sure somebody out there will be able to fill us in on that. But we have one thing that's very exciting is the new Pop-Tart pattern. And for those of you who don't know, there was what we've lovingly called the Pop-Tart pattern was this 3DS that came out, the special limited edition 3DS that was Animal Crossing themed. And it had little kind of polka dots of the different charms, I guess, of the Animal Crossing world. So everybody calls it the Pop-Tart pattern because the color scheme looks like a strawberry Pop-Tart. But yeah, I guess, Sergio, you've seen the new kind of Pop-Tart pattern we've got?
Yes, definitely.
What do you think of it?
I like it a lot. It's traditional Animal Crossing Pop-Tart, but with a new look, and we kind of needed that, so I like it.
Yeah, and that's my thing too. Like, I was looking at it and I was just like, this is updated. Like, there's some new things here. I think this is a really cool update to what we've already had, but also like keeps that classic look. And I think this was kind of what I was looking for sure. I wanted something that captured the Pop-Tart from before, but updated it,
Yes.
Yeah, so this new Pop-Tart pattern is featured on a Switch Lite pouch. It is also, there's also a Switch Lite over-the-shoulder carrier bag. So there's one pouch that'll fit the Switch better. There's one pouch that'll fit the Switch Lite better. There's
Mhm.
also this, what I like to call the Switch lunchbox. And this is a carrying case for your entire Switch and accessories. So
Yes.
it'll hold the dock, it'll hold all the cables, some games, and the Switch itself. So that one's a pretty cool one. I like it. I might actually look into getting that one. Um,
Nice.
and then there's some really cool like Switch Lite back covers. There's some more outside of this Pop-Tart pattern, but I'll get to that. But the Pop-Tart pattern has a Switch Lite back plate kind of thing, you know?
Oh, nice. Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and then there's a Switch stand. I actually have like a little stand that's just like this one, but it just in regular old black. But this
Yes.
one has the Pop-Tart pattern, so it's obviously cuter. And then there's also like this tote bag, a nice. It looks like pretty nice, like a nice quality tote bag.
Yes.
And I believe were these all Hori?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Oh, then I feel like they're gonna come to the West then, because
Yes.
we tend to get a lot of their stuff here. So be on the lookout for those if you're really interested in them.
Mhm.
But anyways, for general Animal Crossing merch, they came out with a whole line of Switch Lite back covers that are Animal Crossing themed, and some Switch Lite cases as well.
Yes.
So nice little pouches to put your cases. It seems like they're very Switch Lite heavy with this kind of options that they've put out, you know?
Mhm.
And this could mean two things, but I'll get to that. Then the last thing that they had was some Switch Joy-Con skins along with like a cover for the Switch. And this is the regular sized Switch if you have that. So Sergio, I did want to talk about how a lot of these items are Switch Lite focused, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And to me, this could mean two things. One thing that it could mean is that the Switch Lite is not getting a themed console, so they're putting out like all of these backplates to kind of cover
Ah.
that, you know?
Mhm.
So like if you're not gonna get an Animal Crossing Switch Lite, maybe they're giving you some backplates to use instead and kind of still have that theme with you, you know?
Yes. Mhm.
The other thing it could mean is that we are getting a Switch Lite thing, and they're just giving you all of the Switch Lite accessories to
Ah,
go even
nice.
more all out with it, you know?
Mhm.
So, what are you thinking with that?
It's interesting. I was talking to a friend. We were discussing that I don't know about Japan or Europe, but I believe in North America the regular Switch is very hard to come by nowadays. So if you're trying to buy a Switch, most likely you're gonna run into the Lite. And I mean, we were kind of discussing maybe Nintendo is doing this on purpose. Maybe the Lite is not selling as well as they want, and they're kind of holding back stock of the regular Switch, because they want the Lite to sell. And I think if that's the case, they're gonna have a limited edition Animal Crossing Switch Lite. So seeing the accessories, I don't know, it's surprising honestly, but it's nice to have options. I especially really like the accessories with the new like minty looking green Pop Tart pattern. I really like that. And like you said, since they're by Hori, I think it's very safe to say that we're gonna get them. If people wanted to get them now, just be aware that it could take a little while because it's shipping from Japan. So it usually takes honestly about a month to get things here. But you could order from Amazon or from eBay. There are several sellers that would sell you things from Japan. So if you really want them in time, yeah, I would say start looking now because it could take a while to get here.
Yeah, yeah. And we're almost halfway through January at this point, so it's getting close.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so if there's anything you really want, you can go ahead and get it. I'm still waiting a little bit though,
Mhm.
because I need to know if there's going to be a Switch console.
I
I
know.
want to know.
Yeah.
So I'm just busy waiting for that, but hopefully it happens. That's the one thing that's been stopping me essentially from pre-ordering this game already. I just don't know what to order.
All right, because we don't know if there's going to be a bundle, and if there is, it could have the game or it couldn't. It could be physical, digital. We don't know. That's the thing. Yeah, we gotta keep waiting.
Yeah, so we're still waiting, but if you all like any of this stuff, go ahead and pick it up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've gotten a lot of questions lately on our Discord, so I thought it would be a good time to do more of a post office episode. So I've collected a lot of these questions for Sergio and I to answer, and yeah, we'll probably be focusing on that for the rest of this episode. But there are a lot of really good questions, and I'm really excited to go through some of them. So Sergio, I'll go ahead and read the questions and then we can go through and answer them. So the first question is from Thunder Buddy, and they asked, what would you do to make the town bulletin board more relevant? So Sergio, what are you thinking with this?
I was thinking of an idea to make it more relevant, at least in the sense of you wanting to go look at it every day. And I thought of implementing something like a raffle. There's something like that in the Pokemon cafes. There's some special battles that you can do once per day in each location. And there's also one that where you check the Rotom at the Pokemon Center. You can get like a raffle depending on the Pokemon numbers that you have, and it changes every day. So it kind of encourages you to keep going back every day. And it would be nice to have something like that on the bulletin board, especially if you can get rewards that are exclusive to that. It could be like the bulletin board series of furniture or custom clothing items or something that encourages you to at least look at it every day. And you might win something, you might not. It probably wouldn't require you to write something on it, but you at least have to check it every day. That would be a nice little something.
Yeah, that would be really good. That's like, it could easily be turned into a Nook Miles kind of goal, like checking the bulletin board this many days in a row or something.
Yeah.
So that could keep you reading. I like that. I like that idea a lot because if you played the first Animal Crossing game, Population Growing, then you know that like all of the houses were essentially, placed around the bulletin board. It was easy to walk right out of your house and then instantly go through and see what the new news was,
Yes.
But the other thing that it did that was really special, and I feel it just hasn't made a return, which is unfortunate, but I don't know how it would work. But the one thing that made that one special is the scavenger hunts that popped up randomly, where a villager would post something and say, hey, I buried an item in acre A5 or something. Right. So if you go to acre A5, you could find something special if you found it, if you managed to find it. And the reason that worked is because the acre system in Animal Crossing kind of moved with you. Like you could physically follow the acres because of how the screen moved to each spot,
Yes.
So that was probably taken out because there wasn't really a way to do that anymore. At least I haven't seen it on the new map, so it doesn't seem like things are being labeled like A through F or whatever, and then 1 through 5 or 6. And so I don't, the system just wouldn't work the same, but I think it would make the bulletin board a lot more relevant if you knew you could go up to it and see like, oh, this villager has hid something for all of us to kind of hunt for. That would be really cool to find. So I think like giving yourself more kind of rewards for doing that would make it just feel more worth reading, at least.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of my idea with that. And I think it'd be fun. I love finding the random items in Animal Crossing. I think that's a lot of the fun in the game,
Yeah, and both of these ideas would be even something else to do every day. And I think any little daily activity they can add to the game, it's a huge win in my book. So for sure, daily things, this is great.
Yeah. So the next question was from Itari Jinx, and they asked, have you noticed the orange bug net looks like it has an Astro theme to it? It's orange and metal. I think her clothes look a little like Astro too. And that watering can Chewy said looked like a Fisher Price can, that looked like the kids theme applied to the watering can. This makes me think that we can customize the look of our tools. And Sergio, this is a really interesting idea. I didn't notice it that way, but like when they put it that way, I'm like, oh, that does kind of make sense. So I'm kind of it makes me wonder if we can customize more things according to like a different furniture series. So yeah, I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I hadn't noticed that too. It kind of felt like, oh, we're just gonna be able to craft different versions of the item and different tiers of them, and they just gonna look a little bit different, which would make sense. But if they have that like a normal progression in the look of the different tiers for the tools, but if we're also able to customize them and apply them to like the toy set or the blue, the green set, the modern wood set, everything. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing because we're gonna be able to customize every different tier of the tool to our style, the way we want them to look. I feel like that's gonna add a lot of personality and a lot of variety to our towns. It's every something else to make it look the way we want. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I also think it's just interesting to think that it'd be customizable for tools for sure, just because
yeah.
the tools have always looked the same. They've always kind of been the same thing where it's the regular tool, silver and gold, at least since they added the silver. I think in the first game only regular and gold existed, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's a cool idea. I wonder if it'll play out like that, but that's a good catch for sure.
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
and it would also encourage us to, try different looks for the tools because once we get, for example, the golden fishing rod, that's pretty much all we're going to use. But if we're able to customize the looks of it, we might want to change it, I don't know, every week or so and just have a different look for a different season or different event or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd like that. So
Yeah.
Lampshade asked, what improvements would you make to the fossil system? Digging, identifying, and donating. I was thinking it would be neat to have a new special character visit once a week, an archaeologist building museums and researching across the world. You can interact with him or her once, and he either gives you more bells than normal for specific fossils of the weeks, enough to hold onto, or special fossils or archaeologist-themed furniture. Or he could act as some of Fossil Wonder Trade with random islanders across the world, and it says the fossil was donated by that person in your museum or something. I haven't thought of.
Mm.
um, so yeah, I guess I remember seeing one thing that JVGS Jeff wanted to change, and if you don't know him, he's one of the just like longest running Animal Crossing bloggers out there. His towns have been existing for a very long time at this point,
Oh.
so he's very cool. But he, in one of his recent videos, said he'd really like to see us be able to identify our own fossils. So that would be interesting. But me
Oh.
personally, I'd really focus on the finding them aspect. Like maybe we can find fossils underwater or something, and you can add a sea fossil exhibit, for example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was my idea. What do you think of that?
Nice. No, I like all of Lamp's ideas, and I like your idea as well. Everything they can do to improve the fossil system would be great. My idea is, eventually we find all the fossils, and that's kind of it. So we just sell them or give them away to friends, and we can still do that. But I have an idea to add more value to this, and I was thinking maybe if you keep getting the same fossil several times, eventually you get the perfect version of that fossil. I'm thinking, I'm just throwing a number out there. Maybe after you get the same fossil 50 times, you get the perfect version of it. That's gonna take a while, but it's something we would look forward to doing. We have already our collection, but now we're tracking which ones are close to being perfect. That would be a nice little incentive, I think.
Yeah, that would be kind of bring some different value to the future fossils that you find.
Right.
Blathers could say, "Oh, this one's even better than the first one we found."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that too. So Sasha 2020 asked, "How would you improve the museum? Bringing the observatory back is something that people really want, but what else? How would you improve the bugfish fossil art rooms? I adore the museum, and that's why I think it would be fun to see it being improved." So what are you thinking for this one, Sergio?
Okay, for this one, I mean, it's gonna take a lot of work for the developer team in the translations and also for Blathers. But I think he would be up to it because it would promote the museum. So I have two ideas. The first one is that Blathers would give you a random description for a bug or a fish or a sea creature. They're gonna be random once every day, and it's gonna be like little actual fun facts about the items in the museum. and they're going to be factual, so they're going to be true, and they're going to be random. So it's going to encourage you to go to the museum at least once a day, so you get a couple of cool facts about what's in there. The second one, it's a little more involved than that. It would actually be Blathers doing like a little skit or like a presentation for the fish or the fossil. He would actually wear like a bug or a fish costume just to make it like more exciting, and enticing for people to visit the museum. So maybe this could work in tandem. He could have the little skit and he could give you the facts about the fish, the bug, the art piece, or everything that's in the museum. So it would be random. It would be again something else to visit daily. Another reason to go to the museum.
Yeah, and that kind of gives me a thought too. Like, what if you could hire him as like a tour guide, and maybe he'll tell you some different stuff about everything as you pass by, and maybe he won't show everything in a single day. Like, he'll focus on certain things each day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of give you some new information as you go.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And we know he's an expert at all this, so for sure.
yeah, of course, especially the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. For me, I said I'd give us some different options to upgrade the museum and change the layout of how you display your findings.
Oh,
I think we tend to just have all of the same museum,
yeah.
And so like once you've seen one of them, you've kind of seen all of them. So there's really not a huge reason to go into a friend's museum unless you're just interested in what they've caught or what they're missing.
Yes. Hmm.
But outside of that, I'd also like it to keep records on like sizes, because like in New Leaf,
Oh, yes.
it would show what size something you caught was, but it just you couldn't ever find that information again. And so I think it'd be really fun to keep trying to beat the record in the museum and, donate the biggest sea bass that was ever caught.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would be fun. And it also gets you back into donating to the museum a lot longer than just like you donated it once, you're done for now, forever,
Yeah. Mhm.
essentially. Cool.
Nice. Hmm.
So the next question was from Claire, and they asked, what if Isabel is a real estate agent? In the picture, it looks like she's showing Fuchsia around the town. Maybe she promotes the island and tries to get people to come to the island. And yeah, what are you thinking for Isabel, Sergio?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. I hadn't really thought about it, and it makes sense. It would be nice. It seems like she might be trying to get more people to the island, and I feel like that's something Isabel would do. My only concern for people that really like Isabel, and they would probably want them in they would probably want her in their island, mostly daily, on a daily basis. But I feel like if she's working to get people in the island, she's probably not going to be around that much. She might only visit like once a week or so. That might make her a little more meaningful, like a special character, kind of like KK. We only see him once a week. So Isabel could be like that now. And I guess if she's okay with it, we should be okay with it too.
Yeah, I still want to see her more though.
Yeah.
For me, I said it does look like she's wearing, the classic uniform now at this point.
Yeah.
Their island T-shirt, you could
Yeah.
say. So it does look like maybe she was hired by Tom Nook, and I have no idea what she's going to be doing for him, but I imagine she is very helpful with getting new residents situated. So
Yeah.
she handled us moving into our New Leaf world very well. So I'm sure she'll be able to handle everybody going into their island.
Yeah, definitely.
So Kakulu asked, what do you think about the new young beaver special character? Do you think Chip has been replaced, or does fishing have a new mechanic that needs a new special character? And I think it's definitely that last one. I think fishing has a new mechanic that needs a new special character. We do see him fishing, of course, so that's kind of where that idea comes from. But they added the new bait feature, and perhaps it plays a big role in fishing that it requires a bait shop. So
Yes.
that's kind of my thinking with this character, but I don't think he's a replacement for Chip.
No, definitely. I agree. He doesn't need a replacement. I really hope he's not getting replaced. I agree with you that a bait shop would be very nice for Chip Jr., I guess we could call him for now. And I'm thinking if we have Chip Jr. and we already had Timmy and Tommy, it would be nice to finally start seeing some of the younger versions of the special characters. They could either help in the shops or they could have their own unique shops, or like we kind of we're hoping the other episode, maybe they could just be regular villagers and they're just going to be around your island and they're just act like normal regular villagers, introducing those special species as regular villagers. That would also be very nice.
Yeah, that's true. I'm super down to see like more siblings and children and
Yeah,
other people, I guess animals related to the characters we already know.
yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Honey Oceans, and they asked, what if part of our island expansion is actually being able to reach smaller nearby islands to decorate? On one hand, it would be cute to have different mini islands with their own themes, but on the other, I'm not sure I'd prefer it over what we originally thought island expansion might be. What are your thoughts, and which do you prefer? What are you thinking, Sergio?
That's very interesting. I do hope there's a way to expand the island. Regardless of how it is, I just really want to be able to expand it. If there is a multiple island system, my first and biggest concern is how easy and how quick it would be to go from one little island or from your main island, I guess, to the smaller ones around it. I hope it's quick. If it's a little, if you have to go to the place where Dodo Airlines is and you have to wait a little bit between travel, that might make it not too enticing to do. It sounds like a little bit bothersome. But if it's nice and easy, if it's maybe just bridges all over the place, but they look nice, they look like an actual natural way to expand the island, I'm all for it. The more room there is, the more special locations there can be. I'm all for a bigger island.
Yeah, I think I would prefer expanding, but I'm kind of
Hmm.
opening up to the idea of different islands being around.
Yeah.
I just feel like it makes it a little bit easier, I guess, to handle. It makes it a little bit easier to grasp because some people might be like, it seems a little weird to expand your island, you
Right.
know?
Yes.
And we're already kind of seeing like another island pop up where Harvey is,
That's right.
like off in the
Yes.
distance. So, yeah, it's starting to look more and more like islands are going to do some different, they're going to be different islands that do different things, you know?
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm like, when has Tom Nook ever turned down in making us pay for something else, you know?
Yes.
Like, I feel like once we've paid off that first loan, he's going to be like, yeah, so you can pay off another, make your house, and maybe pay off this big loan for a big island, you know?
Second floor to your island.
Yeah, I just feel like that is in Tom Nook's code at this point. So I feel like it has to happen.
Nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Shizue said, do you believe that Isabel foreshadowed New Horizons when she said that she wanted to go to the beach? However, since she was the hardest worker in New Leaf, she asked for seashells since she could not go. And for me, I said, I think the developers are just constantly coming up with ideas for Animal Crossing. There are things that they just can't fit into the game if they want it to eventually be done so we can play it, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so I think you can see a lot of the ideas show up from spin-offs and like they're making their way into New Horizons. Some things from each spin-off game I think is making an appearance. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were plenty of ideas that were sparked during New Leaf, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. It's an interesting idea. I think if that's the case, she's definitely gonna say something about that so that we can all make the connection, officially in a way. So if that's the case, and I think it would be a nice approach to it. I feel like if they acknowledge it and she says something about it, yeah, that's a very good catch.
Yeah, it could have
Yeah.
happened. So Gamma Games said, do you have any thoughts or wants for early game progression, like villager milestones to unlock features like the town tree, town hall, shops, etc., or some set playtime unlock system? So what are you thinking for this, Sergio?
I'm thinking for the most part they're gonna stick to the traditional way of unlocking things, which is by the number of days that you play the game. And that's nice because everyone is gonna be playing pretty much at the same pace in the beginning. We can only play one day every day, right? But I feel like if they can add a little more unlockable items or things depending on how many hours you're playing, that would be a nice little extra. since this would be for people that have a lot of free time in the beginning, it's probably not going to be the biggest thing, the biggest, craziest feature to unlock, but it would be a nice little extra, something else to keep track of. We have however many days we're playing, but also the hours could play into that. So it would be two ways to unlock things. I think that would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. The traditional way definitely seems like, that's the normal thing to do with Animal
Yeah.
Crossing. And I kind of went that way too, where I guess I just always treat the new shops and like shop expansions as kind of that early game progression. I
Yes.
think as like more things pop up, you kind of see like how special the game becomes after putting some time into it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it'll feel especially more so with just that we start with nothing. We essentially are going to have the one
Oh
shop
yeah.
that Tom Nook runs and two villagers and yourself, and then it's going to grow from there, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be cool to see just like how much they can grow it from there. And I think it'll be a lot for sure.
Oh yeah.
So something said, and that's their name, it's something. What's the verdict on the money rock? Is it cheating by giving basically free money, or is it a good part of early game startup? And, I said I didn't even think of it in terms of cheating or, just making it easier for us to get money at the beginning of the game. But personally, I just love it because it's a quirky part of Animal Crossing. And like it's quirky and magical. And that's kind of the fun things about Animal Crossing is just like,
Yeah.
you're already moving into a town where you're the only human and everybody else is animals. And just add the fact that you can grow money trees and hit rocks and money falls out of them. And, even money falls out of trees if you shake them. So
Yes.
I just love that there's these little weird places that bells come from. And I think that's magical. So I don't think it's cheating. I don't even consider it like a fun startup thing. I just think it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I don't think it's cheating either. And, it's cool because it's optional and it's another one of those daily things to do. I also like that sometimes, depending on your luck or the items, like the lucky items, if you have any, you might get more rewards. You might just get regular bells, or you might get special gemstones, which eventually give you more. So that's nice. One thing I would change is that maybe it would be better if you don't have to like do the diggy spots around you, sort of like to set up like a barrier so you can hit the money rock perfectly without the bounce back effect. So if they could do it so that you could still hit it all the times in a day, but without setting up that barrier, I feel like that would be like a more natural approach to it.
Yeah, you're right. And I totally forgot that was a thing too, but I do it
Yeah.
kind of naturally every single time where I just dig holes behind me so I
Yeah.
don't have to, I don't get pushed back with each hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I like that, but I wonder if we'll get an update to it. We'll see, because right now we know that we're going to be hitting essentially materials out of rocks this time around. So
Yeah. Oh,
who
that's right.
knows if it's going to make a comeback, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a question here from Islander Tab, and she said, Chewy, what do you think about the paid DLC for Pokemon? And do you think there will be something similar with New Horizons? And I realized she said Chewy, but we can both answer it because we're both here. For me, I think the paid DLC is, in terms of Pokemon, good and bad. And here's kind of my reasoning behind it. One, I think it's good because I know that there are a lot of people out there who just kind of buy a new generation of Pokemon. Like that's all they get. They don't buy the next game in the series. Like when you have your red and blue, there's always that yellow that follows,
Yes.
So I like that instead of buying a full new game to get like all of these little updates and stuff, you can just add to your existing game, right? But there's also that small amount of people that actually doesn't buy the game when it first comes out, and they only buy the next little updated version,
Right.
Platinum is one that comes to mind, or Emerald is one that I actually did. Like I didn't play
Oh.
Ruby or Sapphire, I just bought Emerald, because I was already like late into getting Ruby or Sapphire. Like my brother got Sapphire, and I was like, oh man, Pokemon, I miss this. And so I went out and got Emerald version, you know?
Right, nice.
And so there's that's not going to exist essentially. Like if people want that version of it, like they're going to have to buy that original one plus the DLC to get all of that, which would still come out to more than they would have if they had just gotten that third version, you know?
That's right.
So that's what I think about it in terms of Pokemon. But I think the vast majority falls into they've bought that first game already and appreciate that the second version is a lot cheaper, you know?
That's true.
But do I think there will be something similar in New Horizons? Kind of. I think like Nintendo has been dipping their toes into DLC. They are putting it out for a lot of different games now, at least like paid DLC. They always kind of did free things before, but I think now they have like a plan to do substantial DLC packages. We've seen it with Zelda, Splatoon, just like tons of games we didn't know would happen to, but
yes,
now that it has, and you know, we've kind of seen a big DLC update to Animal Crossing before. It was free then. I don't think it'll be free in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, Sergio?
I'm completely with you, especially on the Pokemon side. It's very surprising to me that they announced it so quickly. It kind of points to me that they were working on it before the game was finished, and that's a little disappointing. But personally, I can never say no to Pokemon, so I already pre-ordered both of them. So, oh well.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, but definitely, I think Animal Crossing is gonna get something like that. I mean, if you look at games, even something like Fire Emblem has DLC on the way, even Luigi's Mansion 3, and that still really surprises me that a game like that is gonna have DLC. So I think Animal Crossing definitely is gonna follow suit, and I feel like those other examples that I mentioned, pretty much anything except Pokemon, you can tell they are working on it either as soon as the game is finished or even afterward. And I think that's gonna be the same with Animal Crossing. So it might take a little while before we see what they're working on, but when we see it, it's gonna be DLC that makes sense, and it's gonna expand our playtime in the value of our island. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about that Luigi's Mansion DLC.
Yeah.
I know it's all like kind of, what's the word for it? It is multiplayer DLC,
Yes.
which is also very strange because they've,
Yes.
for the most part, just done story DLC thus far.
That's right.
Like that was the case with Splatoon and Zelda, but I guess they're just trying out different things now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Flair, and they asked, how do you plan to decorate your house in New Horizons? And when I saw this question, I thought it was pretty funny because, like, I haven't thought about decorating my house in New Horizons. I've strictly kind of been thinking about decorating my island, you know? Because that's like the big new thing that we're going to be able to do. So that has been where my focus has been. But that said, I do really hope they add some things from Happy Home Designer. I want the rugs. I want the ceiling items. I'm glad that we already have the half grid placement. So that's a huge thing. But I think for the most part with my homes in Animal Crossing, I go for more of a cozy look for sure. But what are you thinking, Sergio?
Nice. Yeah, I'm also thinking the same type of rooms that I usually like to have. You know, I like the main room to be like a cozy, inviting living room, and then I have a bathroom, a kitchen, and my own bedroom. This time around, I'm probably gonna switch them around. Like instead of the bathroom being on the left, maybe I'll have it on the right this time around. I also have like a game room or an entertainment room in the basement, and then a storage cellar. So I'm probably gonna stick with the same rooms, but I'm gonna change the location and definitely gonna change the theme, the items, the style that I go for each one. Yeah, that's my plan right now.
That's fun. I'm glad you have like plans for different types of rooms to make it like a home, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought that far. So you're way ahead of me. I'm just like, I hope we can do these things before I decide.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we have one more question, and it's another one from Islander Tab. And she asked, Chewy and Sergio, there's been some discussion about this on Discord, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Now that we are seeing bundles for sale for the Switch/Switch Lite not being a special edition, does it change predictions on there being special edition consoles? For me, I said, I think there's still time to hear about a special edition console. I
Yeah.
mean, they just have to make Animal Crossing Joy-Con. They have to, please. What do you think,
Oh
Sergio?
man, that'd be great for sure. I'm with you. I think there's still time. Yeah, I think if there's gonna be any limited edition, full system is probably gonna be the Lite. And honestly, I'm kind of warming up to the idea of buying a Switch Lite. But I mean, for sure, I'm gonna wait until March, until the very last second. I guess it would be the day before or the day of the release when they could announce it. I mean, they could even announce it for like the holidays, but I guess I'll be waiting longer than that then.
Yeah, that's true. There's a long wait, but I'm glad. I mean, like, if they put out an Animal Crossing Switch Lite, I think that's honestly gonna be what gets you, Sergio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So thank you everybody for sending us some listener mail, some into our post office on Discord. If you are interested in sending us some mail too, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube, tweet at us, and on Twitter. Pretty much anywhere you can find us. Send us something, and if I remember, because sometimes I forget about these things. I'm like, oh man, and don't be afraid to just give me a little nudge because I need a lot of those with all the stuff I'm always thinking about. But yeah, send us anything wherever you want, and we'll fit them into the show next time we do another one of these post office episodes.
Nice.
But let's go ahead and close out the show with our classic Haken's Islander Corner. For those of you who don't know, every single week on Patreon, we ask our patrons a question and read their answers out loud here. This week's question was, what were your initial thoughts when you learned that you'd be starting New Horizons on a deserted island? So Sergio and I have already answered this, but we're going to go ahead and read these answers back and forth. Sergio, do you want to start?
Yes, definitely. The first answer is by Miranda, and they say, I was so excited. I love camping in real life, and I'm excited to do that in New Horizons. I love that starting from scratch would be able to extend how long it will take until I feel like I'm done with the game. Ah, that's a very good point. We're starting with so little, just 2 villagers, that's it. Only one shop, like you said, so for sure, this is going to add value.
Yeah, definitely. There's just so much that we can do from from the get-go,
Yeah.
Yeah. So T with T said, I was glad to see a refreshing take on the game. I believe the Animal Crossing team is overall very good at continuously improving each installment. I'm always happy to see them try new things. Yeah, and I agree with this too. Like, at this point, we've played how many different Animal Crossing games? I think it's really nice to see one that's as different as this,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Nice. So Jesse Leiberg says, I was just excited about any news. By the time I could start to judge the new features more fairly and in depth, the details from the treehouse were available and everything sounded great. That's true. We got those treehouse details very soon after the first reveal. That was nice because I remember a lot of us were kind of concerned, but then the treehouse just like put us at ease. Definitely, it was great to see.
Yeah, I do think they said like a lot of what we needed to know to make us feel at ease for sure. So I'm glad they had the treehouse after, and it seemed like they planned it out very well. They knew.
Oh yeah.
I think they had an idea of how we would react to some stuff, and they handled it very well.
Yeah.
All right, so the next answer is from Tulski, and they said, I was just worried that we weren't going to have different seasons. At first, it looked like it only featured summer, but I'm glad they cleared that up pretty quickly, or else I would be losing my mind waiting to see if we could make snowmen. No, that is exactly where I was. I was just like, not about a seasonless Animal Crossing. That's the one change that never needs to happen, so I'm really glad that we're going to have seasons.
Yes, definitely. We need them. It just goes hand in hand with the real time aspect of it. Yeah, we definitely need them. So that's good.
Yeah.
So Agatha says, when I saw the initial trailer, I was kind of confused, unhappy, not sure if it was even a mainline game. Oh, that's a good point. But then the treehouse came along and I saw where they were going with New Horizons. I'm so excited to build something from the ground up and to see how creative people can be by making their islands their own. That was a very good point because there's like in the time-lapse version of the first trailer, a friend and I were thinking, wow, this kind of looks like a mobile game. This doesn't really look like a full mainline AC game. But eventually, yeah, in the treehouse, you can definitely tell it is.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good. It
Yeah.
looks great. Much more than just a mobile game.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next answer is from Butt Elf, and she said, I honestly don't think I had an impression directly about it being an island setting. I was too surprised and excited by even seeing the news that my brain was just like, yes, yes, yes. After the shock wore off, I still was just excited about how pretty the game looked and the fact that we can place furniture outside. Personally, I'm freezing all the time in Western Canada, and I don't mind the fact that I can be on an island when I'm spending my life on Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm just happy we have all the cozy seasons.
Nice.
Yeah, so for some people living in the cold, it's probably pretty great to know that you've got an island getaway during that time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Cool. So Cyber Giro says, I was really hoping for an expanded large forest town with access to something like bloom areas. The island was the getaway area that we could decorate and go to, but not where we lived. So it's weird to see that as the main place we live. Also, that means no train station. But I don't know, despite being an island, as long as it is bigger overall, I doubt it would feel that different from normal. It's still a beach, rivers, and trees. But what's the island we get to go in this one? The mainland? That's true, and I guess that goes in part with the speculation we were talking about earlier. There's gotta be different like sub islands. They could even have a slightly different theme to them, a different feel, because definitely the island felt like a different place from our regular town. So I really hope there's something like that here as well.
Yeah, that's true. It's just gonna. I remember what Nina was kind of saying about her changing her whole direction with her town because it didn't seem to fit like the island theme, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, some people might have changed their mind based on that.
True.
Cool. So the next answer is from Spirit of Ace, and I think this is the last answer that we've got. But they said, I was really confused at first because for the first half of the reveal trailer, they actually made it look like it was something completely different to what we were used to. And then when the screen goes black shortly before the music kicks in again and reveals the tent, that's when I got really excited because that's when I was sure it was a proper Animal Crossing game. And also the part where you see the villagers talking in the snow.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this game is really doing winter very well. It's like, I think winter for a lot of people has been the least favorite historically, but now it seems like it just looks too good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, this is the best looking winter we've gotten in a while. So it's pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, I agree. It makes it inviting. It makes it nice and cold but exciting.
Yeah, who would have thought that winter would look the best on an island?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description, and you can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio and me. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChewiePlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, have an episode dedicated to you, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering all things Haken and Chewie Plays. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. Tuned in on YouTube? The comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. What were your initial thoughts when you learned that you'd be starting a New Horizons on a deserted island? And if you dig what you hear, please KK slide over to that review section on your platform of choice. Let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chewie, Sergio, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.